morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. I have something completely different for you. It's entirely different for me, and it's audiobooks. I don't think that in previous years, yet we're coming to the end of 5 years of doing YouTube, I don't think that I have read or listened to, really, more than 2 or 3 audiobooks a year, and I think it's mostly by accident that I might come across something, and I think in the past it's maybe been P.G. Wodehouse or maybe a mystery series here and there. But my experience with audiobooks is, and especially with Hoopla, which is the only place I go for audiobooks, is that when you click on something to borrow it, if you don't like it, you can return it, but that's it. You've used up your 1 of 5. And then this month I went back in because I found a book that I really wanted to listen to, but I already had listened to 2, and it seems that Hoopla is down to 3. Next time I'm in the library, I'm going to just ask the service desk and find out, did it go down to 3 or did I imagine it? But the reason I don't think I imagined it's gone down is because I listened to a lot this year. So for those of you who've been following me, you know that it's been a bit of a dark hole this year, especially in the spring, and over the summer I was struggling with sleep. And while audiobooks for me are difficult through the daytime because I just can't sit still for it, So if I've got it on, it's got to be without headphones. Nobody else can be in the house because Steve doesn't want to listen to my audiobooks. And I'll wander away and then come back to it and think, oh God, where was I? And so I find that process really frustrating. But if I listen to them at night, then even I fall asleep, I'll do a bookmark before I start to listen, so I know that I can at least get back to my beginning if I fall asleep. I know that there's a sleeper thing on it, but doesn't that also? I'm such a fusspot. That also doesn't work for me because if the sound just goes off, that will wake me up. So yeah, it's like I'm the Princess and the Pea, except it's the princess in the audiobook. So I do have a big year of listening. And the first one that I started the year off with was A City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. And this was sort of upper middle grade, young adults. And Victoria Schwab kind of writes in that little niche area that her main characters they're teenagers, but they're not graduating teenagers from high school. They're sort of around grade 10-ish. And so this young girl has, did I write down her name? No. I went through Hoopla and did a fast recap of everything. I really liked this. We've got a young girl who somewhere in her life, she experienced drowning and was dead for a second before she was resuscitated, and consequently she can see ghosts. And her parents are on one of those paranormal TV show podcast kinds of things, and they've flown to Edinburgh and they are investigating the ghosts of Edinburgh. And once the young girl is revived from the drowning experience, she can see ghosts, and she ends up with a best friend who's a ghost who travels with her to Edinburgh. And so the two of them are figuring out this really evil ghost lady who seems to be kidnapping children. Now, as I'm saying that, I'm trying to remember, I think that they're human children that are going missing, and their ghosts are part of the story as well. So it's a real ghost story. It was creepy. It did give some pretty interesting context for the Edinburgh itself, the city. And so it was very atmospheric and it was plausible. It really stood up to, some ghost stories you can't buy into it, I bought into this. And especially I'm surprised because it was an audiobook. So as an audiobook, I'm even fussier. So I thought it was quite excellent. Now, the rest I'm going to tell you about in no particular order. But I have two stinkers. So should I do the stinkers first? Yeah, let's do the stinkers first. The first one is called A Letter to Three Witches by Elizabeth Bass. And it is about three witches in a small community that tolerates their witchiness. And a letter comes through to one of the younger of the three sisters, and it disrupts the whole plateau of life. And someone comes in who they see as the enemy, but this person sees themselves as the rescuer. But that person's idea of what is a rescue is the three witches' idea of a disaster. And so we've got that little tornado kind of happening. And it was in the romance area, and if only they had dealt with the letter and the confusion and the conflict that arose as a result of this whole secret being revealed, it would have been a good story. How many times do you read something and think, you don't have to fall in love with everything that's lovable. You just don't have to fall in love every time you turn around. Every time you go out for ice cream, you don't have to fall in love with whoever you meet. It's just these romances that come out of nowhere. It's kind of like pineapple pieces on your pizza. You just think, what the heck? So, did not love it. Now the one that was P.U. stinky. It's a good thing I don't have a high readership. I might get in trouble. Okay, 12 Days of Murder by Andreina Cordani, Cordani. Now, like if you want to really enjoy a stinker, go listen. But it had such good potential bones, and I feel like I want to take that book and plagiarize it. I want to go in and I want to rewrite it. It has the premise of 12 people getting, is it actually 12 people? No, it's not quite 12 people. A group of people who were in a murder mystery kind of a club when they were in university in England have been gathered back together. Years ago, there was a murder mystery that was enacted. Someone went missing, never found, presumed dead, and that person's sister has recalled the murder mystery club and is doing another act out a murder mystery thing. She's hired a manor house, of course. And of course, there is a great big snowfall. They're snowed in. Luckily, there's a caterer on site who's been not part of the group, but has been given specific tasks in terms of delivering letters. It's all part of the murder mystery game that's being played. So, but luckily, she's got a truckload of food. So even though they're snowed in, they won't go hungry. Manor. There's a wine cellar. Okay, so they're, like physically they're fine, except that they get killed off. Now, what's cool about this, the part that I really liked the idea of, is that she's taken the song, The 12 Days of Christmas, and she's given each person, so there's Mrs. Dove, First Day of Christmas, my true love said, Partridge in a pear tree. So there's a Mrs. Partridge, there's a dove, there's Mr. Rings, there's Mr. Leaping, and so on. So she's played with this idea of that Christmas carol. Okay. They're going to die according somehow to what there was in the Christmas carol. So Mrs. Partridge, a pear tree is going to be involved in her death. 3 gold rings. Somehow gold's going to feature in that person's death, So that part of it is really apparent. And I just think there could have been so much spoofing around with it. It could have been so much fun. But the characters don't retain their names of the Christmas carol. They retain in the book, they retain their real life names. So at a certain point, I'm like, I don't remember who was Mr. Gold, and then someone will be murdered, and I just think, well, what was their name in the Christmas Carol? And yeah, so there were just the Christmas Carol completely got lost. Now, the solution also, there's like a red herring, a really big red herring that's going on, and that's okay. I don't mind that. The solution comes kind of by accident. That's okay when it's a spoof. It's okay because everything else is so ridiculous. Why not have a ridiculous solution? That's okay. But honestly, it just got more ludicrous as it went on, and the author, I think, completely lost sight of why they were there, what the Christmas Carol had to do with the whole storyline, and even the snowed-inness is just becomes less and less plausible as everybody's running around outside in this knee-high snow. If you can get to the forest in knee-high snow, you can get out to the road. Just a question of what direction you choose to go when you go out the front door. So it's like, no, the implausibility had to be bigger. It had to be more insane. I was very sad. So I didn't enjoy it at all, and it should have been good. So let's go to what was fun, what was really good. Faith Martin is an author that I came across sort of around March, April, and she has at least 3 series, and I listened to 2. The first one is called the Fatal series, fatal as in death. And we have Coroner Clement Ryder and PC Police Constable Trudy Loveday. And this is in the early days, it's taking place in the early days of female constables in the British police force. And the coroner is coming up to retirement. So a murder happens. The coroner, he doesn't believe it's being investigated properly. He can assert he has certain authority that allows him to override and continue an investigation. And so he makes a judgment that says, no, we're going to go a little further into this, goes to the police head honcho, and he gets assigned Trudy Loveday, who is not wanted. And so turns out she's actually pretty bright, and the two of them develop a professional relationship. And the coroner, Clement Ryder, has got some health issues that we are experiencing through these series, and Trudy Loveday is under the mentorship of Clement Ryder, is honing her observational skills. And as a female at that time in history, she hasn't got a chance of becoming a detective. Like the worst she can get is helping out with traffic violations, and the best she can get is maybe being the secretary in a conference with a whole bunch of men who need notes taken. It's like that moment in history. So as she's working with Clement Ryder, she's becoming really skilled, and we see this over the course of 7 books, and I listened to all 7. I think the last book, things were just a little bit weak. We've got the coroner's coming really truly to his retirement, and I'm not clear how Trudy is going to jump the hurdle of being female. That's kind of left up in the air, but this mysteries continue to be interesting, and how they solve them continue to be interesting. So I thought it was a really great series, and I was listening to it a little obsessively, shall we say? So obsessively that I have a library card for the South Shore where the camp is, and I used it to get into Hoopla in order to continue listening past my allotted number of books. And then I used Steve's. I don't think he's entirely forgiven me for that. Okay, the second series that she wrote is Detective Inspector Hilary Greene. And it takes place just outside of Oxford. And her husband, the first book, we find out that her husband was a dirty cop, and she was trying to divorce him before his bad shenanigans were discovered. So luckily for her, she's in the clear. But what it also means is that she's living on a narrowboat because there was, divorce proceedings, and assets were frozen because of they were figuring out whether she was part of his dirty dealings, so her assets are frozen. So she's living on an uncle's narrowboat while she's solving crimes. And then the narrowboat community comes into one or two of the more tense moments, or one or two of the plots involve narrowboat people. So the setting's pretty interesting, and the areas around Oxford, there's a lot of small villages, so we get to kind of drive the countryside as well. She's got a detective team that has got one surly bastard as just hates her. He can't stand women, but her in particular. And then she's got another detective assistant who's a female, who's really ambitious and kind of very skillfully sleeps her way through promotions. And so she's got a really interesting group of people that she has to solve these crimes with. There are 21 books in the series. I listened to 17 compulsively, obsessively. It was bad. Except it was so good. I mean, I wouldn't have done that if I had disliked the series, right? I'm too impatient to listen to crap. So I really enjoyed it. And probably in the new year, I'll go back and discover, I'm positive there's one more series, possibly two. But I did need to take a break. The next one I listened to was completely the other end of the spectrum. It's called House Witch, and it's a humorous romance series. And I think for those of you who like the cozy business, we've got a house witch, a man, which is unusual that house witch is a man. Unusual that there are house witches, because it's a category of magic in this world that nobody ever seems to have. It's considered sort of beneath a witch. It's like you're the person who comes in the house with muddy boots from the stable and you walk through onto the rugs. That's kind of how they see these house witches. Well, he turns out to be a pretty powerful kind of guy. And he falls in love with Lady Annika. And Lady Annika is a bodyguard to the Queen, as well as a professional assassin. So you got the cook and you got the killer, and they're falling in love all over the kitchen appliances. There are some knights who get into real trouble for having hassled some of the kitchen staff, and so the house witch, his name is Finley Ash Owen. He's pretty clever in how he can get someone to experience a punishment that makes sense consequently. So these knights were making fun of his kitchen staff. So as a punishment, instead of being losing privilege or something, they end up having to help in the kitchen, and it gets pretty funny from there on. The author of The House Witch is called Delemhach, Delemhach, and I'll put that in the doobly-doo below. It's Delemhach. There's 3 books in the series. I listened to 2. I didn't listen to the third one simply because I had too many books that month, and so I couldn't finish the series. And also I was ready for a little more blood and gore, which is why I went to the 12 Days of Murder. Okay, what's the last one? Okay, the last one of the year, again, was another series. There's 5 in the series. I listened to all 5. It's written by Ashley Weaver. The first one is called A Peculiar Combination, and this takes place. It's just after World War II, and the main character's name is Electra McDonnell, and she is a housebreaker. Her family are professional thieves. Everybody has a specialty of some sort, as a safe breaker or a cat burglar or a fencer of jewelry. And so Electra has, through her youth and into her adult years, she has a regular job. I can't remember what, but she does have a regular job. And she's called upon to help with these house break-ins. And they get caught. First time ever they get caught. And what happens is, can't remember exactly what the twist is, but they don't get into trouble because Major Ramsey has decided he's in sort of MI, I guess. He's like in the security side of things. He's not in the police force. And there's some kind of spy action going on. And he's decided using these cat burglars, housebreakers and safe crackers and so on is his way in to the spy. Like, instead of trying to set up a sting or anything like that, they're just going to use plain old burglary and observation and so on to nab this person or this gang. Like, they're just not entirely sure. So that's part of Electra's task, is to help figure out. Now, of course, the major, being a major, doesn't think that she can actually accomplish the thing that she can do, which is break into houses. I guess because he caught her. But he doesn't know quite her history, so he's not too aware of just how good she and the family are. So over the course of the 5 books, Electra and the major, maybe, but also there's just a lot of family members who are eccentric, and the plots are kind of wacky, and no, they're not wacky. I would say the solution to the problems are eccentric. It's a very creative group of thieves, and so that's why Major Ramsey's into them, because they come up with strategies, or they just come up with creative solutions to, he can't figure out how he's going to tackle some of these problems. And they're like, oh, no problem. And we'll just break that we'll just break that safe open. It's like, oh, well, he would never think of that because he's a good guy. He's thinking, how can we be there when the safe is opened and we can just kind of steal the papers that we need, or the map that's, going to give away our state secrets. And the robbers are going, you break the safe open. What's your problem? If you're going to steal the papers, yeah, might as well go whole hog. So they have those kinds of encounters. I might have painted it a little bit more eccentric than it actually is, because I've taken 5 books and compressed them into like one conversation. But that's more or less what you're seeing. So let me see. I told you who everybody wrote, who all the authors were. So I think that's like 7, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's about 34 audiobooks that I've listened to. An unheard of number. It's just shocking to me. Now, I did it all through Hoopla. I don't use Audible or anything else. And as I say, I'm going to have to go back to the library and find out why I'm limited to 3, because that annoys me. So I'm going to rise up in rebellion and say, no, give me my 5. Steve listens to Hoopla as well, so I can't steal from him. He took pity on me this summer because I was just having a rough summer. So I don't want to have pity borrow his Hoopla privileges. So I think I'll continue to listen, because there's one that I'm in the middle of, and it's nonfiction, and it's about Matilda, the Empress of England, that the book is now out of print, and that annoys me. I've been trying to buy it for about 4 years, and I can't get it. I'm going to have to go on to the used books method and see if I can buy it. And I'd like to come back to that one series I was mentioning, Faith Martin, and I'm not sure what else I see in my Hoopla future, because it's just pretty hit and miss. That 12 Days of Murder was recommended as a trending book Hoopla said, oh yeah, try this. So I don't think I want to trust Hoopla. I don't think they have any taste. So anyhow, I think that's it for me. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true, and I will see you next week. I don't know why, and I don't know what. We'll just have fun. Bye-bye for now.